Hey, what's up? It's Aaron. Hey, welcome back to the Cash PT Lunch Hour podcast. Here's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about how to save money and make six figures as a physical therapist. I'm going to teach you how to make seven figures. But most of you don't believe that you can make seven figures, so we're just going to start with six. Number one thing I want you to do is make sure you click like, subscribe, hit the notification bell if you're watching this on YouTube, or follow me over on Instagram, Twitter, wherever it is that you do your social media, Facebook, etc. If you get anything from this podcast today, I'd love to know. I'd love to know what your big takeaways are. It helps me create better podcasts and better trainings for you. If I don't know, I can't help you. That's one thing I tell our Platinum Mastermind members. So if there's a place to leave a comment, that'd be amazing. If you're so inspired, go leave us a 5-star rating and review over on iTunes. Or screenshot this and shout me out on Instagram and let me know what was most helpful about this. Share this with your friends, etc. But if you let me know, then I can create more. And if you have any questions, please ask some questions. I will do my best to come in and answer them. So here's the problem that I see. Physical therapists. I was just at CSM. There's 14,000 physical therapists there. Majority of them are struggling to make money every month. Even though they're doctors of physical therapy, they spent 3 or more years in grad school. They have prestigious education and a prestigious job, but not prestigious pay. You have hundreds of thousands of dollars in loans, but yeah, you're unable to get a job to help you pay them back or feel like you can actually afford to buy a house. I've had 3 or 4 of our mastermind members in the last year or so buy new houses because their businesses have grown enough, which is amazing. Look, the other problem is no one ever taught you how to manage your money. No one taught me how to manage my money. I was somehow maybe by my parents expected that I would just like pick it up by osmosis, but they never shared with me how they managed their money. They never shared with me finances or anything like that. I had to learn the hard way by going into debt. I was like maybe $50,000, $60,000 in debt, living in San Francisco, eating rice-a-roni and tofu, trying to race my bicycle because I didn't have enough money to buy, fresh chicken. It all went to rent. I think I probably could have picked a less expensive city to live in, but YOLO. You graduate with 6 figures. You can't get a job to pay you enough to have anything extra. You don't want to eat rice and beans and live the Dave Ramsey lifestyle. I don't know. Some people think it's a badge of honor to get rid of their debt in 2 or 3 years. I can tell you what, I'm not going to give you any awards or accolades. I see no honor in getting rid of your debt fast because, as you're going to get into in a minute, that's the wrong kind of debt that you don't need to worry about. You run out of money before you run out of month. 64% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. The cost of living surged in 2022. The number of Americans living paycheck to paycheck jumped to 64%. Which that's from CNBC. So that's a lot of Americans living paycheck to paycheck. You're probably one of them. You can't afford to travel. You can't afford to take time off when you want. Some of that goes down to having a job, right? And my boss won't let me take a day off to go better myself and learn more about business because I might become the competition. You can't afford to travel because you can take that one trip of the year to the Bahamas, or you can go to the beach or whatever, but you're like, I can't travel to go learn more about business because I don't have money. That's the whole reason you need to go learn about business and rearrange your priorities. One of the other problems is your priorities are wrong. You're trying to live the American dream, the 9 to 5, you live for the weekends, but living for the weekends and watching the clock to get out of work means you don't like your job and you need to be doing something else. Okay, so here's the possibility. You have all the money you need. You have plenty of money to give away to the charities that you want and value. Just imagine. You don't have to watch your bank account like a hawk and make sure you have money. I can tell you what, though, successful people look at their bank accounts and they have a good relationship with their money. Maybe you're writing checks you can't cash, right? I know people who've done that. Maybe you're just ignoring the problem, hoping it'll go away on its own. Here's the possibility is you have all the money you need. You can travel where and when you want. You can take your whole family first class. It doesn't matter if your flight is delayed going home because you don't need to be there to go to work. So I was meeting with our mastermind members a few weeks ago in Denver, Saturday, Sunday, and About a third of us went skiing in Breckenridge Monday and Tuesday, and we're flying home on Wednesday, and we're delayed. And, I'm sitting there with Brandon Smith and Jess Jenny and having dinner, and we're just like, well, if we get delayed, whatever, like, I don't have to be home tomorrow, so the fuck what? Like, I'd rather be home, but getting home, I don't have to be home for a job. I don't have to be home for, my work, my patients, or anything like that, because I got other people covering that for me. We could have just stayed and maybe skied another day because the snow is getting better, but we had all been out of town for a while and wanted to get back and just do some different things. I had different plans the next weekend. The possibility is money is no longer your excuse, and you have a love affair with money, in that you're not greedy, but money does good things for you, and you can make it do good things for the world, and you can leverage it in ways that you never imagined. Okay, I spoke on a podcast last week with Megan Stinson, who's speaking at PT BizCon. We're talking about money, and we could have gone deeper into the money thing, but she's very religious. Her and her business partner, Caitlin, part of their mission is to serve God through their practice and through their patients. Megan is adopting a child and doing all these amazing things. And I was like, well, how do you reconcile that with the money? And because a lot of people think money is unethical, and they use, a lot of times they'll use like religion, like God, like ethics as a way to justify not making more or not having enough. And that's just a poor mindset. And we talked about it, and she's like, if I don't charge money, if I don't charge enough, I can't help people who need it. I can't keep the lights on and serve our patients. I can't take my family and do fun things with them. We can put food on the table. We have to charge what we're worth. And this is someone who's been in business for a long time, and a long time as an in-network practice owner, who was so stressed out because, she wasn't taking a salary herself. She ended up having 2 strokes. She's younger than me. I'm not that old. From stress. I mean, it's so what I want you to understand is that we're talking about money, and money is good, and money can do good things. And if you are like, oh, I don't want to make money, I don't feel like I should charge people money, it's just you have a bad money mindset from being around the wrong people. Okay. And some of those people may be your family and friends and parents. And your parents aren't the wrong people. They're just the wrong people to talk to you and teach you about money. Okay. This isn't a money mindset podcast, but maybe I need to do a money mindset podcast or a meditation podcast. We need to talk about it more. Money should be easy to talk about, but it's so triggering and emotional for so many people. You just need to be around the right people. We're going to talk about how you can do this. And I want you to be able to make 6 figures. I want you to be able to make plenty of money so you can pay off your loans in the right amount of time and in the right order. But the number one thing I want you to really understand is that you cannot save your way to wealth. You cannot save your way. You're just never going to save your way to wealth. It's just not going to work. You can go to Starbucks every day and spend $5 there. Okay, you can go to Starbucks every day and spend $8. Just cutting out Starbucks isn't going to make you wealthy or get you 6 figures. You understand that? Spending 10 hours trying to figure out which credit card processor is the cheapest so you can save 2% on your fees isn't going to make you a millionaire. Like eating Rice-A-Roni isn't going to make you a millionaire. Those aren't the things that are going to make you a millionaire. Being mindful about your expenses is important. But instead of, let's say, this credit card fees, instead of spending a couple hours trying to figure out which credit card company or processing company is the cheapest and posting in internet forums and all these things, you should be spending that time going and doing a workshop or being in front of people or connecting with other people who are referral partners for you. It's a much better use of your time. Because one new patient can bring in $1,000, but one new credit card merchant might save you $300 a month. And the higher volume you are, maybe it'll save you $1,000 a month, but that's really high volume, and one new patient can bring in $1,000 a month. So I just need you to keep those things in perspective. So you can't save your way to wealth. So here's a couple things. Everyone's talking about, oh, I don't want to spend money. I can't spend the money. I don't have the money. This year's not the right year. Next year is the right year. Maybe next year. If it's not now, when? next year is just an excuse to keep delaying your dreams. What you need to understand is there's different types of money and different types of investments. And everyone's like, oh, I can't possibly spend the money, to learn how to grow my business, is basically what people say a lot of times, because what they're not understanding is how money works. Okay, so there's some bad investments. Like, let's say you graduate, you're Dr. LeBauer, and you're like, sweet, I'm making $85,000 a year. I don't have kids. Let me go buy a house and buy a car. And now I've got this big fat car payment, and I've got a home. And yeah, the home's a good investment. And I've got this car, and let me go buy the new TV and buy all the stuff at IKEA and whatever. Okay, great. If you're going to be happy working as a PT for 20 years and you don't want kids and all these things, like, good. A home may not be a bad investment. It's really not. We can argue it. Like, some people are going to say, don't live in the home you own. Rent the one you own and own the one you rent. But that's a little bit more advanced kind of thinking. What's a bad investment? Things you spend money on that decrease in value. A brand new car. I've only bought one brand new car, and that was last year, and I bought it through my business. And I went to the dealer, and I paid $5,000 down, and then it was like $800 a month with all the bells and whistles for the top of the line Subaru Ascent. Okay? Right? But all that money comes through the business, and it's a car in the business. So one, I get depreciation. I get to count the depreciation of the car for 5 years as a write-off on my taxes. If the car could tow over 6,000 pounds, I could write it all off in 1 year. That's why so many people have business trucks. But the monthly payment is a business expense, so I don't pay taxes on that $800 a month. I've got the $200 a month car insurance. I don't pay taxes on that. Okay. But if I didn't have a business, I'm paying taxes, and then I'm paying that monthly car payment, and then I'm paying that monthly insurance. And that's after tax money. But if I buy it through my business, it's before tax money. So a bad investment for most of you is going out and buying a new car, because as soon as you drive that car off the lot, the price goes down. Even during COVID, the price go down a couple $1,000s. The thing with a used Ascent that was 3 years old, it was $5,000 cheaper than the brand new one. And, if I'm going to finance it, why not just buy the brand new one? Okay, you get that? Okay, eating out. Like, if you're trying to grow your business, if you're trying to grow your wealth, eating out 5 days a week isn't the way to save money. It's not a good investment in your bank account, and it's probably not a good investment in your health. Make your own food. Make some chicken soup or beef stew every Sunday, and you'll have that for like 5 days of the week. Rice, sweet potatoes, some steak. It doesn't even need to be like high quality steak if you're going to put it in a stew. It can be stew beef, which is like $5 a pound. You can even get organic grass-fed stew beef for like $6.99 a pound and make that go a long, long way. Okay? You don't need to eat out. You can eat out once a week. All right? Drinking out. Drinks can... I spent $34 on a drink recently. Well, it was like a Scotch Manhattan, and the Scotch was expensive, but that adds up. Even if you're drinking well water, Scotch and vodka, like, you can go out and spend $60-$80 really quick, easy. For what? Like, for a good time with your friends? Yeah, great. Go home and party. You don't need to go out, especially if you're trying to save money. You just don't. There's other things you can do. You don't even need to drink. You can go out and not have a drink and still have a great time. Just tell the bartender that you want soda water with a lemon, right? A lot of places now you can get Athletic Brewing beer or some kombucha, okay? New clothes. You certainly don't need to buy new clothes. You don't need to buy super expensive new clothes. New clothes are overrated. I buy some new clothes, but I wear the same ones over and over as well. Hair, you don't need to go get your hair done. Look, I'm a guy, right? It costs me $30, $45 to get my hair cut. I get cut like every 3 or 4 months. I have had some clients who are women who are spending $200, $250 on their hair or more every month. I just want you to understand that that's a luxury. And if you have a job making $60, $70, $80, even $90,000, even $100,000, like you're going to, maybe you could do without that for a couple months and have a couple extra $100 that you save or invest in your business to grow it long-term. Ribeye steaks, like I buy ribeye steaks, but you don't need to buy ribeyes. You don't need to eat ribeyes to live a healthy life, because as soon as you eat it, it's gone. Renting an expensive apartment, like you don't need to live in the nicest place in town right now. It's like, I think a lot of these things that are in bad investments are things you spend money on it and you get nothing in return other than status. So you get status. What does status do for you? Nothing. Status doesn't help you make more money, help more people. It helps you feed your ego. So what are good investments? Good investments are things that you invest in yourself. Your education as a physical therapist. That's a great investment. Like I would never walk that back, even if, it's getting bleaker and bleaker and, we've told more people to not go into PT. It depends on why you want to go into PT. If you want to go into PT just for a good job, no longer is that a good investment. But I can tell you, if you're listening to this and you're in PT school, you're a PT, your education is your best investment that you have. So your education as a PT, your education as a business owner, as a better person, personal development, these are all good investments. A course, if you want to open a cash practice or a physical therapy business and you're a physical therapist, you no longer need to invest in continuing education. You need to invest in business education. So saying, hey, I'm going to spend a year getting a residency or OCS or get the specialty certification in manual therapy, that's all cool. Like you do not need that to get started. And I would say, unless you need the Con Ed hours, you do not need to go and do those things, especially between year 0 of your business and year 3. When your business is growing and it's thriving and you're like, sweet, I got all the time and money I need, then go back and do all these other specialty certifications because you want to, but do not use them as a way to delay starting or as a justification for getting patient great results. Because I got better results than most of you when I was only a massage therapist. And that's just the truth. I got better results than most physical therapists as a massage therapist. Yes, I had a Duke education, but that didn't help me get better results. I'm a problem solver. I use my hands. Patients came to me, paid me $85 an hour as a massage therapist because they'd been to PTs, occupational therapists, acupuncturists, massage therapists, orthopedic surgeons, and no one ever touched them where they hurt, and they came to me. They came to see me. They knew to come see Aaron. So you're your best investment. Courses, personal development, mastermind groups, coaching, especially if you own a business or want to own a business or you want to grow it or you want to leverage your business to make more money, make 6-7 figures. You need to invest in yourself and invest in your team. Those are all good investments. And those things cost money, but generally when you make an investment in them and you do the work, you're going to get your investment back tenfold. I've told this story many times, but the first year I coached with Bedros gave me it was $25,000. I was like, I'd never spent that kind of money on a program before, but I was like, he'd helped me do so many other things. I was like, I got to do this. We worked on some things and oh my God, I could just tell you all the things we did, but one idea he gave me made me $32,000 that year. It was a Black Friday special I ran. Paid for the year of coaching, right? So now it's a no-brainer the next year when he's like, hey, I want you to join my next mastermind. It's, Empire Mastermind. It's $50,000. I'm like, okay. And then made more money, launched a book. I've got a 7-figure award from ClickFunnels, the 2 Comma Club award. I'm like, okay, no brainer to do more private coaching with Bedros. It's just, that's the way I see it, is if I give you money and you help me make that much money or more back because I'm doing the work and taking action, like I'm going to keep working with you. I'm going to keep putting the money in the machine. Same way when you work with me is if you come to me and I give you an idea, you gave me 20 something thousand and I helped you with an idea and grow a stream of income that makes you 70. Why would you quit? Keep putting money in the machine. We keep printing money. That's a really good investment. Okay. Some other smart investments to make are, things where you can put your money to work, right? The stock market, bonds, other investments, real estate, but you need to have cash flow to be able to do that. There was at one point where I had a business and I was like, why am I still paying taxes? Business owners shouldn't have to pay as much taxes as I'm paying because I was always behind every year, even though we were growing. And what I wasn't doing, I didn't have an IRA. I didn't have a savings. And everyone's like, oh, just put more money into your savings or your retirement. I'm like, but you got to have money to do that. And what I ended up doing is working with the right accountant who we switched it so that I'm putting money into the savings first through paying myself as an employee. So there's more to come. But I need you to understand that you got to work with the right people to learn how to do that. That took me 5 years to figure out on my own. Now our mastermind members, that just information comes to them as part of our program. My financial advisors came to speak at our mastermind event last fall. My accountant came in the spring. I mean, those things are just part of that training, but I just need you to know, like, these are the things that you need to seek out, these little tips and strategies. So good investments, courses, personal development, mastermind coaching, investment, like real estate is a really good investment. If you have the cash flow to back it up when it's empty. Okay. Your own house is a decent investment, but you shouldn't pay it off. You shouldn't pay off your house. Paying off your house isn't a badge of honor either. Okay. You need to leverage your assets and your equity in your own house to buy another property that you rent out through Airbnb or just rent it. And hopefully you're able to buy more than just single unit homes, or you invest with other people to do that. We've talked a little bit about good investments. I'm sure there's more, and I'm sure there's more bad ones. I'd love to know what they are. But here's how to save money and invest wisely. Number one, I think I've got 4 things here. Live below your means. Don't live to the edge of your means. This is the problem with most Americans is they're like, hey, I'm making $85,000 a year. Okay, it's X amount per month. I can spend it all. The problem is if it's in your account, you're just going to spend it all. Okay, so you just got to live below your means. One of the ways to do that is to take a percentage of your paycheck, and if your boss or company you work for is offering an IRA and a match, put as much over there as you can because that's free money. Okay, if they're not offering that, and or you have enough, you need to move money over into a savings account. So this is probably number 3, but live below your means. Just trust me, live below your means. Don't live to the edge of your means. When you get that raise, don't be like, oh, now I can afford the next BMW or a new pair, new wardrobe and, move up in a new house. And you guys should see, until this year, I was driving a 2001 Lexus that I bought from my mom at a discount. The car I'm driving right now is a 2017 BMW X1. I got it from my mom at a discount. No shame in that. Like, the car I want, is going to cost me $50,000. And it's a 1967 Porsche, and plus I got to have like $30,000 for repairs. So I'm not just going to go spend that money if I have it. I'm going to invest it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to build an investment vehicle. I'm going to build an asset that's going to pay for that car. You should see my house. It's nice. It's great. I love it. But is it perfect? No. The countertops need to be repainted. The kitchen needs to be redone. But does it work for me and functional on a day-to-day? Yeah. Who am I trying to impress? Nobody? Okay. Live below your means. Number 2, loans. If you have loans, government loans are great. You need to, and if you have a struggle month, you can just call the government and be like, hey, I can't pay this month. They're like, okay, cool. You can, instead of just paying the regular rate, you can do an income-based repayment, which is especially helpful if you're starting a business, because if you start a business, your income in that first year is going to be pretty low. So maybe the first time you're doing it based on your income as a job, but as you move out of your job and into your own business and you write more things off, those payments are going to go down. What I did, I had the option to do graduated repayment, which was lower in the beginning because my income was pretty high, because at the time, and it may have changed now because this was back in 2008, 2009, they were looking at the fact that I owned a car and owned a house and used that to base my payments on, and the income-based repayment was going to be higher than the graduated repayment. So the graduated repayment plan, yes, it would balloon up at the end, but I knew I had about 10 years before it really got out of control and I could do something else about it, or maybe pay it off, which I did. I paid off my student loans in about 10 years. But I didn't do it all in the beginning. I did it heavily at the end when I was making excess income in my businesses, that I moved it to the student loans because that was the best debt to pay off. Okay, do not consolidate your federal loans into private loans, even if you can get a lower rate. Don't do it, because the government loans, they go away when you die, and they're not a liability on your dependents, the people that you leave behind, or your estate, but private loans can and probably will. So keep your federal loans federal, and you can do, if you already have, and then if you have extra private loans, figure out what you can do with those. Maybe you consolidate them into a better, lower rate. At the time, I was able to consolidate my federal loans into another federal thing, but keep it federal. Don't move it private, because that'll screw you up. Number 3, here's what we're going to do is we're going to set up a savings account, or if you already have a savings account and you have a business, you're going to set up a profit first account. We teach profit first to our mastermind members, but here's what you're going to do. You're going to set up a second account somewhere, and it can be in your current bank or even at a different bank. But at the current bank just makes it really easy. Just going to set up another account, and you're going to nickname it savings or rainy day fund or profit first account. And then you're just going to make an automatic transfer from your regular checking to that account that happens every week, like $20 or $100. And it's just going to go in there on a regular basis. It's an amount of money that you won't miss, but it's just going to go in there and fill up that savings account. Okay. And now you're going to build it up so until it has 6 months worth of expenses. So if you spend $10,000 a month to live, build it up till it has $60,000. Okay. The way a profit first, so maybe you already have that as a savings. That's a savings account. The way a profit first account works, which is slightly different, but it's the same thing. You just fill it up slowly. It's more of a business account rather than a personal side account, but the profit first account is like a business account. And you move money from your business into the profit first account. Same thing every week, 20, 50, 100, 1,000, whatever, enough that you won't miss it, but it just goes in there. And you start slow, and you can always take these and increase them. And then the way a profit first account works is at the beginning of every quarter, you take 50% out, you give it to yourself as an owner's draw, and then you take a percentage of that and you go celebrate. You go get ice cream, you go out to a nice fancy dinner. Maybe once it gets to be $50,000, you go on a trip to Disney. I don't know, something like that. But what you need is a savings account that slowly fills with an automatic transfer that you won't miss. So when that money is not in your checking account, you won't spend it, and it'll be in this other savings account. Once you get past like 6 months worth of expenses, anything beyond that needs to start going into investments, IRA, bonds, something else other than just sitting cash in your bank. Okay, because if inflation's so high, you need to be in like the stock market, you need to be invested in some real estate or whatnot. Number 4, if you're young, especially if you're young, you need to start a Roth IRA. Okay, I don't qualify for a Roth IRA anymore, but what a Roth IRA does is you put in after-tax money now into this Roth IRA, and it grows for 30 years. And it's after-tax money, so in 30 years, you take it out, you don't pay taxes on it. The whole idea is when you're young, you're earning less, you're in a lower tax bracket than when you're going to be 65, 70 years old, and you've got $5 million and you're taking out $20,000 a month, you're going to be in a much higher tax bracket. So especially when you're young, you want to put money into a Roth IRA. Okay, one of the ways I've helped a few people do this recently is using an app. The app is called Betterment, Betterment, Betterment app. Just get in there, get the app, sign up. verify yourself, verify your bank account, and start by put like $100 in there. And I can't remember all the options, but basically you want a Roth IRA, and you just want to use, I think that Schwab or something like that. You just want to use their Schwab managed fund, and you just put it in there. You could do your own management and whatever. Just do the one that's like the easiest, no-brainer one. You're young. It should be a little bit more aggressive. And then you just set it up so every week it just sends $20 in there and auto invests it. Okay, or maybe $100 every week. The more you can put in there after 20, 30 years, the more that's going to balloon. And there's some great places to go to find investment calculators. But you can see if you put something in and it grows at 8%, and you put in $1,000 a month, we're talking like $3 million. I mean, you're just gonna get a ton of money, because what happens is after year 20, it starts to really compound the size. And remember, this Roth IRA is after tax. So the more gains you have, you're not going to pay taxes on the gains. Okay. So Roth IRA, Betterment app, like if there's one thing that you do and you're under the age of 30, or you're making less than $100,000, you just go do this right now. Okay. If you start making more and you no longer qualify to contribute to a Roth IRA, no big deal. If you're making more and you want to move it somewhere else and you use a financial advisor, no big deal. They just move that funds into their thing and all's good. One of the things that I'm doing is we have for the business, it's a simple IRA. Your investment advisor, tax accountant can help you decide which one is the best and how to help set it up. But you should be putting money in there. If you're an employee, like I said, and your employer offers a match, whatever they're matching, that's free money for you. And it's straight up free money. You should be taking advantage of this. Most employees don't take advantage of it because they want money now. They're short-term. They're short-sighted with their money rather than long-term. You need to be long-term sighted with your money. So take advantage of it. I talked about saving money, but we're actually not saving, we're investing. You see the difference? We're going to put your money to work. I need you to know money's good. Money is everywhere. And even in an economic recession, money's still exchanging hands. You just need to go find your money. You need to solve a big problem. Range of motion for my shoulder, joint stiffness, mobility, that's not a problem people want solved. People want to be able to walk on the beach with their loved one. They want to be able to drive to Michigan to go to a wedding. They want to be able to pick up their grandkids. They want to be able to take their kids out of the back seat of the car so that their daughter can go to work. Here's some other ways to make $100,000 as a physical therapist. Number one, outpatient orthopedics is probably not going to get you there, but occasionally it can, and you can be an intrapreneur. That's an employee with an entrepreneur mindset. And as you help the business grow and you show value to the business and the business owner, there'll be opportunities that come up where as you help the business grow, you can also get a percentage of the profits, or that's something that you could ask for. You don't just ask for $100 a visit and not justify it and think you're going to make $100K, working for someone else, especially in orthopedics. Be an intrapreneur. You can go do travel PT. Like I know, travel PT jobs, there's some good ones and there's some bad ones, but you can do it. It may pay I think it can pay really good and it can be really shit, right? So Jess Jenny from Wanderlust PTs is the person that I would look into. If you're looking and saying, hey, I want to do travel PT, I want to travel around a bunch of different places, go look her up. It's Jess Jenny, Wanderlust PTs. We may have a link below, but you just Google her. She's great. We went skiing together last week. She's awesome. She's helped thousands of PTs place and travel assignments and make good money. I don't think she's tracking it, but I do know that, when you travel, you get higher rates, and she's got some great resources for that and match you with trusted, what are they called? Whoever the people are that place you in travel assignments and not the ones that are going to take advantage of you. There's home health. Home health, you can just go get a home health job and make 6 figures, but likely with travel and home health, you'll still be stuck making 75, 85 unless you know the right questions to ask and who to talk to. Travel PT, I had someone tell me they didn't have enough money and enough time, and they were making $75,000 doing travel, and they didn't have kids. And I was like, you have enough money and you have enough time to work on your business. They just had no vision and didn't believe themselves and didn't really have a strong why. those are just excuses. But in order not to allow those things to be excuses, the money shouldn't be excuses to travel PT. Brandon Smith has helped a couple hundred people make over $100,000. He's helped 3 people make over $200,000 as a home health PT. He's got a great course, the Home Health Mentor. Go look up Brandon Smith. It's outside the box income and investing. Join his inner circle. Tell him Aaron sent you. Tell Jess Aaron sent you. They'll both take care of you depending on which direction you want to go. But as a home health PT, you should easily be making 6 figures. And when you're doing that as a travel PT or home health PT, you should be looking at this as leverage to save money, invest money, and start your own thing later on, because that's what's going to give you freedom and fulfillment. And maybe you're just like, you know what? I don't want the responsibility. I just want to do my own thing. Great. Maybe you want to start an online course coaching. Like that can also make you 100K as a PT. It's just, there's a long incubation period between you start your online brand and when people are going to start trusting you and buying from you. You just need to understand that there's an incubation period, so it just takes some time. But it's also a great way to do it. And if you have a small practice, get your practice to where the word of mouth and your systems are feeding you new patients automatically, and you don't need to worry about doing all the heavy marketing to keep growing that, to add new staff. And instead, you can spend that 10 to 12 hours a week working on your online brand, online business, developing your courses and coaching people. And that can be an amazing way to supplement your income doing cash. I mean, hey, just in a cash practice, 9 patients a week should bring you $108,000. But you can make multiple 6 figures doing it, and you could even transition to all online depending on your niche and what you want to do. It's a great way to make 100K, but it's not instantaneous. And then maybe I should have put start a cash practice even on the side first. I mean, but that's my thing. If you want to start a cash practice, you need to check out the Cash PT Blueprint. We can help you. Like, even though the course is $2,500, I'm sure you can find a deal out there somewhere, like on the webinar. But if I can help you make $100,000 a year, wouldn't you agree that $2,500 is a small price to pay to get the step-by-step systems to do that? So those are the ways to make 100K. Like, they're simple, but not easy. And the reason they're not easy is because they take work. You're going to have to work hard. Nothing comes easy. Good things don't always come to those who wait either. Good things come to those people who go and get them. So go get what you want. One, you got to figure out what you want. You got to know why it's important to you. And I hope this list of things was important and valuable. I just dropped pretty much all the information I have. So like, this is one of those things that I used to do where it's like, let me just blurt out all the information and things. And I know you're not going to do it. You're just going to listen to this and be like, oh, there's Aaron. Those are great ideas. So what I challenge you to do is to take action on at least 2 of the ideas and things that we talked about in this podcast today. Like I said, it's not easy, but the rewards are worth it. And I don't have to go to work. I don't have to go to work. I want to come to work. I come in and I'm like, oh, I'm inspired, and let me go write down some ideas and make a podcast. And that's exactly what I did today. That's my work. I love it. I mean, I do have to go answer some emails and make some tough decisions later, but I start my day doing this. Man, it's like, it's not a drag. And that's why I work on the weekends sometimes. I worked all day last Sunday because I was traveling most of the day. So I want that for you too. I know you can do it. Don't settle. Don't settle for anything less than enjoyment, freedom, fulfillment. And if you're ready and you need some help, there's all the links and information below. You know where to find me. Instagram at Aaron LeBauer. Shoot me a message. All in if you're ready to scale your practice from 6 to 7 figures. If you want to take your online business to 6 figures. If you want to launch a cash practice, DM me the word blueprint. I'll get you those details. Or just message me and say, Aaron, here's what I'm trying to do. What do I need? Where do I go? What's the best way to get help? I'm happy to help you. If you got anything from this podcast, I'd really appreciate a 5-star rating and review. I'd also love to hear from you what was most helpful. I'd love to hear from you what you'd like to learn more about. I say this, but no one actually does it. So if you actually do it, you'll probably get the training and resources that you're looking for. You just have to ask. But most people are afraid to ask. Or they just have to spend $2,000 a month and then they get all their questions answered, and they're not afraid to ask because they've put their money where their mouth is and they're ready to do the work, and they go and crush their goals and build a massive, amazing life for themselves. So just let me know. Give me a shout out And I'll see you on the next show. Like I said, go out there, crush it, find your money, stop trying to save your way to wealth. Go invest your money, your time, and effort into building a life of freedom and fulfillment. I'll see you on the next show. Peace out.